Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Sports Talk and the Success Table. I am Zach Barnett. Let's get into this interview today. But before that, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get all our up-to-date content. Let's get into the interview. Yes, sir. So, amongst your time in the NFL and college, and we can go all the way back to your high school years, the teammates around you and the coaches, those two aspects of the game, who had the most impact on you player-wise and your personal side as well?
Oh man, it's hard to narrow it down. There's been many. Coaching wise, I would have to say George Perlis, who was the head coach of Michigan State at the time. And, Nick Saban was a huge influence. He recruited me out of Ohio. He was a huge influence. Nick's principles back then are pretty much the same principles they are now. Fundamentals, remove distractions, be disciplined, do your job. All those things you hear, that are boring and mundane and they're not glamorous, but they're a winning formula. And then along with other things. But, Coach Saban, Coach Perlis, a guy named Buck Nystrom was our offensive line coach was, I think even to this day, he's the only Michigan State, in the history of Michigan State, the only two-time All-American football player and academic All-American football player, two-time. And was he passionate about that school and football. And he was our offensive line coach for my first 3 years at Michigan State. Then Pat Morris came in from USC. And he kind of refined things like, Coach Buck Nystrom was a grinder, man. He taught you, if you didn't have discipline, if you wanted to learn discipline, go see Buck and good luck with that. He was just an incredible guy. And then, but even in the pros, there was, Coach Lindy Infante was great, who I was lucky enough to be a player for in Green Bay and in Indianapolis, because when Coach Marchibroda retired, when I signed with Indy, Coach Marchibroda was the head coach, and then it was less than 60 days later, he retired, and the offensive coordinator, who was Coach Infante, became the head coach. So he was great. There was a guy, Coach Blackledge was the offensive line coach, who was the dad of Todd Blackledge, the great quarterback from Penn State, who's now, I think, a college commentator. He was, phenomenal. One of my favorite, best coaches in the NFL was Coach Howard Mudd, who just passed away recently in these last 6 to 12 months. He was a really special individual. He knew the game. Ridiculous. I think he was close to being 40 years of NFL coaching, over 30 for sure. Just an incredible human being. Way beyond beyond coaching, just an incredible human being, and the way he taught and the way all these things. And then there's a common theme you start to see as you get older. All these things that you're learning on the field, which right step to take on this block or this lead step or this drop step, or watching the inside linebacker versus the corner, or who's blitzing and who do we have, and all this and all those things. It may not sound like it's going to make sense, but they all translate to life, how you live your life. And because every detail mattered. And if you take those tools and put them in your life, and the semantics change and the situations change, but the fundamentals stay the same. And if you want success, apply those fundamentals, and your chances of success are going to be a lot greater.
This concludes our episode today, folks. We greatly appreciate the support. And if you're not a subscriber yet, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get all our up-to-date content. And if you like this video, hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. We welcome you back next time.